Hey guys, today I'm going to start to talk about something a little bit different than what I've spoken about in the past. I want to talk about how the durability patch is going to affect pro play. So it's been about a week since the durability patch has been on the live server, and it seems that most pro and high elo players have a similar opinion, that they don't like it. The patch was implemented to make the game feel fairer to players by removing the 1 second 100 to 0 in most cases that the average player resents. But in my opinion, the majority of the player base that sits in gold and below is still really going to enjoy this patch, so long as they do not main like assassins, LeBlanc, Diana, Zed, Talon, things like that. But the real question I want to talk about today is, how is the durability patch going to affect pro play? So right out of the gate, I'm going to give my opinion that I think this patch is going to make pro play super boring for three main reasons. First off, games are going to be a lot slower than they currently are because windows to punish mistakes with kills are smaller and less common than they were before the patch. Secondly, team compositions are going to be based around scaling, where the team that ints less will often be the winner. And finally, enchanters are going to take over the meta. So let's start talking about that first point. Why are games going to be slower? So the way that professional teams build a lead in most cases is 1v1 or 2v2 kills are probably the least common way that this happens, unless you're in the bot lane against Danny and Vulcan, but that's an outlier. This means that ganks and roams that give your team a man advantage are the best ways to either push someone off of their turret so that they can lose income and XP, or outright just send them back to Fountain with a gray screen. Now this typically works by the jungler or mid laner coming behind an overextended enemy or cutting off a wave behind their turret and tower diving them. The durability patch has made both of these options less likely to be successful by increasing the base health, armor, and magic resist of every champion. This means that teams will be less proactive with plays and only go for ganks with low health or low mobility targets. This brings me to my second point. Team comps are going to be based around scaling rather than early game playmaking because of the increased difficulty of playmaking. Like I said, because of the decrease in playmaking opportunities, we can expect to see a lot of farm-focused carry junglers in the meta. Things that come to mind are Graves, Lilia, Karthus, Kindred. These are going to be common picks because of their strong scaling and farm speed. We may even see a lot of Hecarim Yuumi or maybe even Kayn Yuumi combos become prevalent in this meta. In the mid lane, picks like LeBlanc and Ahri that were such high priority last split are probably going to lose a ton of priority because their power and kill pressure has just gone out the window with this patch. I predict that a lot of team compositions will include 2 carry champs, 2 enchanter or supportive champs, and then 1 like tank engage champion. This brings me to my final point. Enchanters are going to take over the meta. So Riot did implement a healing and shielding nerf, but honestly, unless you're playing like Jungle Ivern or something, it really does not seem to be making that big of a difference. One thing that has stayed constant through most of League of Legends history is that Enchanter champions scale insanely well even with little gold income. We can see examples of this. A couple seasons ago, Lulu top was very prevalent. Just recently, we had the whole Janna top meta, where supports were taking the support item top lane and then just completely leaving their lane, not even caring about their tower or farm or anything, and just going bot, making plays, getting the other team's carry behind. Honestly, if a support champion can go into a solo lane and just lose gracefully, meaning they don't die a ton, they have, decent CS numbers, but they're obviously not going to be winning lane in CS. They're going to be very strong. They're going to go into that lane. They're not going to interact much with their opposing laner, and they're just going to come out of laning phase just way more useful in team fights. It would not be surprising if we saw the return of double enchanter bot lanes. Things like Sonateric. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw things like Seraphine Karma, or maybe even a lot of just Senna plus tank Senna Ornn, Senna Scion, things like that. Senna Tahm Kench is a super common one. It's going to come down to who scales better, and then having these healing slash support characters are just going to make your team fights so much stronger for, you know, and you have to put very little resources into them. So these are my predictions for how this durability patch is going to affect pro play, and I would love to hear what you all think will end up happening. Do you think that enchanters are going to come into meta? Do you think that the healing and shielding nerf is enough to keep that from happening? Do you think that this meta is going to be fun? Is it going to be boring? Comment down below what you think is going to be meta at the beginning of this next pro split. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.